You've got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. Kenny Loggins, we miss you, man. Hello. If you don't know yet, by my glasses or by the song, we are going to be reviewing the X-Files Season 9 episode, Improbable. This is my first review of a Season 9 episode, so we will see how this goes. Season 9 of the X-Files is a lot like Season 8. It gets a lot of hate, mainly because David Duchovny is not there. Unlike Season 8, however, where I think that is unwarranted, Season 8, I believe, is a very solid season of the X-Files. It's one of my favorite seasons. Season 9 gets very warranted hate. Season 9 is probably the most notorious season of the X-Files, and most people, their ire towards it is because of the William adoption storyline, where Scully is forced to give up her baby, who she fought tooth and nail to have, up for adoption. And I completely agree. It's some of the shittiest writing in television history. But that's not to say Season 9 does not have great episodes. I have these rewatch threads on Twitter before I make my video reviews to kind of get my thoughts together. And I said, Season 9 is pretty cool if you squint and forget about the William adoption storyline. Yeah, fuck me. We'll get into that in a little bit. I have a lot to say about it. So, Improbable takes place 3 episodes before that horrible, hideous episode of the X-Files, which I'm just gonna say the majority of the fandom thinks is bullshit. Like, this isn't really the time or place to talk about it, but a lot of people in the fandom are just like, that never happened. Like, Scully never gave her baby up for adoption, which is a thing I love about the X-Files fandom. When something is so atrociously written, in this case, the William adoption storyline, the fandom's like, nope, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And you know what? That's the way I view this episode and the other episodes of Season 9 that I love. It's just Scully's out there being a single mom and raising her baby boy with Reyes and Doggett by her side. And the fucking shitty adoption storyline just never happened. And that's what I love about the X-Files fandom. I mean, we're a shit show, but I think almost everyone can agree on that. Like, I would say 1% of the fandom thinks the adoption storyline was a good idea. And I'm like, to those people, I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. I mean, like, I don't agree with it, and the majority of the fandom doesn't either. Anyway, let's talk about this episode, because it is a ride. It's written by Chris Carter, and if you know anything about me, you know what I think of Chris Carter's writing. It's pretty bad, and the thing I think that saves this episode, and what makes it so beloved to me, is A, the acting by Annabeth Gish, Gillian Anderson, and Robert Patrick, and B, Chris Carter's directing, because Chris Carter's not a good writer, but some of his directing is pretty bomb-ass, and I will give credit where credit's due. Most of the episodes that he directs has some pretty cool shots, some really great imagery, some really cool direction. I have a lot more to say about that, actually. But let's get into it. So the episode begins with this guy traumatizing and torturing a woman. You know you're in a Chris Carter episode, don't you? Like, I really don't think Chris Carter could write anything where a woman is not tortured, traumatized, or brutally killed. Like, and it really shows, like, this guy created the X-Files, okay? But it really shows his view and the entire series' view of women. Like, Chris Carter just really cannot create anything where a woman is not tortured or traumatized. And that's fucked up. Like, people who are like, oh, he was a feminist and he fought to get Jillian on the show. I'm like, yeah, he did that, but that doesn't make him a good person. I'm sorry. Like, that doesn't make him a feminist, okay? Like, oh God, I have so much to say about this. But you know what? We'll get on with the episode. I'll get to it. So there's this guy, and he is at this casino, and he sees this woman at the slots, and she keeps losing. And then he goes to the bar, and he meets Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds is in this episode. So I did not realize this until I rewatched Improbable. But Burt Reynolds fucking raised me. I cannot remember a time in my life where he was not there. Somewhere in some kind of media I was consuming. To you babies out there, okay? There was a time during the late 80s when, oh, do you like my I Want to Believe poster? We got it at the Comic-Con in Birmingham, Alabama. And my husband put in this really fancy frame, and that's kind of sweet. I love it. Anyway, I didn't realize the setup would put the poster back there, but I'm glad it did. I just really wanted to show you guys my bookshelf, which I'm very proud of. Let me show you my bookshelf. There it is. My family loves books. Like, if you go to my mom's house too, it's just top to bottom books. Like, we are a reading family. We love books. Or DVDs. Like, it's books or DVDs. One or the other. Anyway, so the piece of media that introduced me to Burt Reynolds was not Smokey and the Bandit or Deliverance, which is probably his two most famous pieces of media. But it was All Dogs Go to Heaven, the Don Bluth animated film. A deeply weird but very good animated movie. If you've never watched the original All Dogs Go to Heaven, I think it was made in 1989. I could be wrong. Maybe it was 1986. I was a very little girl when I watched it. It's messed up, but it's very entertaining. Burt Reynolds voices the protagonist, Charlie Barkin. When Burt Reynolds died a few years ago, a bunch of animators got together on YouTube and reanimated the song You Can't Keep a Good Dog Down. Don Bluth had this way of making these songs in his animated movies that were earworms. Like, I went back and listened to that song, You Can't Keep a Good Dog Down, from All Dogs Go to Heaven. And I had not listened to it since I was a child. And I remembered all the fucking lyrics. Like, I was singing along. 'Cause you can't keep a good dog down. Oh, no. Are we going to title this review, You Can't Keep a Good Doggett Down? That would be really cool. I know Doggett's not the focus of the episode, but that'd be a pretty cute, title. So, this guy meets Burt Reynolds, and Burt Reynolds is playing solitaire at the bar. And what his deal is he is an omnipotent being that's the personification of a luck. So, he's essentially a god. He's sporting his gorgeous Burt Reynolds mustache. I think during the time period when Burt Reynolds was having his heyday in the late 80s, I think every man had that mustache. There's a funny sketch comedy, and it's called It's Time for Burt Reynolds' Mustache. Every time my family sees Burt Reynolds in anything, we say, it's time for Burt Reynolds' mustache. It's time for Burt Reynolds' mustache. This is Silver Fox Burt Reynolds, so it's really good. Anyway, he calls the guy, I can't, does he call him Wayno or Bueno? I don't know. But anyway, he calls him, I'm going to say he's calling him Wayno, because that's the way I understand it. And he says, like, hey, you have free will. You don't have to murder this woman. You can just go home. And the guy goes in the bathroom and murders. He follows this poor woman into the bathroom and murders her, which pisses me the fuck off. Like, okay, Burt Reynolds, like, you're an omnipotent being. You have unlimited power. You're a god, dude. And you couldn't have stopped that, really. And it's like, okay, he like wants to give the guy free will and like say, okay, take control of your destiny. And that's good, question mark. But what about the poor woman who never bothered anyone? The X-Files has this thing where they love to make excuses for disgusting and abusive men. They are always saying, oh, don't these guys deserve sympathy? And I'm like, what about the women they're torturing? What about them? Like, again, it like really shows Chris Carter's and the show's view of women, like how the show views them as their trauma is just this cute little vehicle for their science fiction show, you know? So you get the credits. And you know what? A lot of people hate on the new title credits in season 8 and season 9. And, yeah, they freak me out. Okay. That the title sequence in season 8 and season 9, it's like fireworks to a dog for me. I'm like, I don't need to watch this. It's scary. So, you get you see Monica Reyes. So, I reviewed Existence, and Monica Reyes played a big role in that, but I've never reviewed an episode where she is the focus, and that's a shame, because Monica Reyes is my second favorite character on the show, okay? Scully's my boo, but Monica Reyes is my baby girl. Like, holy shit, this woman. Whenever she and Scully are on screen together, I cannot focus on any kind of plot. I had to, this episode and Diamonicus, which I want to review next, like, I had to rewatch them like 3 times. I kept losing focus. These women are just too fucking beautiful. Like, so, the opening scenes after the title credits give us some very good clues to who Monica Reyes is. Now, a lot of people compare her to Mulder because she has this very unconventional believer persona. But I disagree. Now, Monica Reyes does wear her unconventional beliefs on her sleeve, and she doesn't give a fuck who knows about it. But with Mulder, when he was doing this, when he was wearing this on his sleeve, there was very much an element of defiance and bravado there. Like, and you'll see it throughout the series, like Mulder will tell somebody something about lake monsters or liver-eating mutants or whatever the fuck, just to mess with them, just to see their reaction. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. Mercy. But with Reyes, like, she'll say those things and do those things, and I think it's because she just doesn't know any better. Monica Reyes is autistic, and I say this, I'm an autistic person, and the way she communicates and views the world is very much the way I do. Like, when she's, later on in the episode, you'll see, like, she'll say things to people, and they'll have this reaction like, whoa, that's crazy. I can't believe you said that. And she's very bemused. She's like, I don't understand. Like, she very much does not know that this is not a socially acceptable way to address somebody or talk. And that gets me down to the bottom of my little autistic soul. I talked to somebody who said Annabeth Gish is a terrible actress and that it ruined season 9. And I'm like, that's very unfair. Annabeth Gish plays Reyes brilliantly, as far as seeing her as an autistic person, and her not being able to pick up on social cues. We'll get to that. So, great scene of her walking to the office, and she's walking in a straight line, and everyone else just has to get out of her way. That is beautiful. I will take Monica Reyes over Fox Mulder any day of the fucking week, okay? She is, like, Monica Reyes is a 12. Fox Mulder is a -5 in my book, okay? She's just a better believer. Monica Reyes is a better believer. That would be a great title for this review. So, and that shows how Monica Reyes is. She believes what she believes, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Like, that's her personality. She isn't so much like Fox Mulder as she is like Melissa Scully, Scully's sister. And I think that is what won Reyes over, what won Scully over to Reyes so fast, is she saw those parts in Reyes' personality that were so much like her beloved sister. And that warms my heart up. Scully and Reyes 5 ever. Okay, MSR, we are not friends anymore. I am a Scully Reyes shipper forever, okay? And oh, dude, don't you worry, we'll get there. Scully Reyes is just a superior ship to Mulder Scully, okay? That's just the way it is, okay? I'm sorry, that's a fact, that's not an opinion. So, she goes to her office. Scully walks in, and let me tell you something, okay? People who say Dana Scully and is not gay are wrong. Okay, they're wrong. Scully's a raging bisexual. People who say Scully and Reyes don't have any sexual chemistry or they didn't have a sexual relationship. Okay, to those people, here's a fun little exercise. Take this scene where Scully walks into Reyes' office, thirsty as all get out, and compare it to something like Nisei, I think that's how you pronounce it, in season 3, where Scully walks up to Mulder while he's sitting at the desk. And tell me how it's different. There's more sexual tension between Scully and Reyes than Mulder and Scully. Okay? And, this was a couple months ago. Some jerkwad on Twitter is like, look, anything that's not on screen is a headcanon, and that means it might not be real. And I'm like, okay, so Mulder and Scully never had sex? And I'm like, riddle me that, bitch. Okay, yeah, we never saw a sex scene, so I guess them having sex is a headcanon too, right? Like, is that what you're saying? And it's like, yeah, anyway, that's what I have to say for people who like hate on the Scully Reyes ship. There is more evidence to them having a sexual relationship than Mulder and Scully having a relationship. So Scully walks in there, thirsty as all get out. Okay? Monica Reyes is telling her about this case. These women have been just brutalized, murdered. And she's saying, like, Monica Reyes is good at math. I'm bad at math. I'm terrible at math. So I'm not even going to attempt to explain her reasoning, okay? But just be... Oh, excuse me. This episode is brought to you by water and lapis lazuli. Drink more water, especially now. There's a heat wave outside, which is why I'm doing this in my home. It's just too fucking hot out there, okay? I'm sorry, guys. I know you wanted to listen to my chickens and my ducks and my cats, but I can't do this, guys. It's too hot, all right? So we're going to vibe in here with the books, all right? So, Monica Reyes is telling Scully that she wants to use this mathematical equation to figure out where this killer will strike next. And she gets up and she shows Scully these slides in the same way Mulder would show Scully slides. And you see it on Scully's face, and she's like, oh my God, I'm in love. That's how you flirt with Dana Scully, all right? You want to get anywhere with Scully? Show her some fucking slides, all right? So, what the fuck am I doing over here? Okay. Yeah, okay, there we go. So, anyway, Monica shows her the slides. Scully's in love. And then Reyes is like, I'm going to solve this case through numerology. And Scully's like, that's a kid's game. Reyes also says numerology, it's something we did when we were kids. You don't know much about Reyes' childhood, which I think is a shame. Like, in the show, they go back into Mulder and Scully's childhood and, like, explain it. And I wish they had done that with Doggett and Reyes. Like, that would have been super fucking interesting. But they don't. But, like, Reyes was raised in Mexico City. She was adopted. And I like to think, like, maybe she had a lot of siblings or a lot of cousins, and they were all just hanging out. Like, that would have been, again, like, I want a show about Scully's childhood and Reyes' childhood. That would be incredible. So, Reyes, tells Scully, like, you know, she's like, you don't believe this, Dana. Oh my God, the way she calls her Dana, it's just, every time Scully and Reyes are off screen in this episode, they're fucking. They're having lots of lesbian sex. Okay, do you hear that, you homophobes? Scully and Reyes are having lots of sex, and then they're smoking cigarettes after that in bed together. Do you hear that, homophobes? Okay, are we good? Yeah, all right. So, Scully tells Reyes is like, oh, but you do believe that there are people that believe in this kind of thing, numerology. Scully goes into this long speech about how there's this theory that the universe can be quantified into a mathematical equation. The whole time, Reyes is just staring at Scully's face like this. She's just like, and then Scully's like, did you hear what I said? And Reyes is like, what? Reyes was envisioning Scully naked right there. So, then Reyes goes to see this, numerologist. And it's kind of a cute callback to the episode Syzygy, where Mulder goes to see the woman, who does the fortune telling, and she's just like this very hard-nosed small business owner. That's the same way with this woman. And the woman's like, look, I don't believe in this stuff. I'm just running a business. And then Reyes gets a call from John Doggett, her partner, and he's telling Reyes, he's like, by making the connection between these murders with your numerology theory, you've cracked this case. Like, we could find this serial killer. And he is so proud. He is just trumpeting to the world. He's like, you did it, Monica. I'm so proud of you. And it's like, oh my God. Like, okay, I'll take John Doggett over Fox Mulder any day of the week. Tell me when Mulder was just unashamedly cheerleading Scully like that. There was never a time. There wasn't a time when he did it. Like, Mulder was too self-centered to even think about what Scully wanted. Like, let alone acknowledge it. But then Doggett's over here with his cheering on his goth wife, like, within an inch of his life. And I'm like, how do people hate this man? Like, how do people hate John Doggett? He is the most wholesome character. I fucking love this guy. And then you'll see him do that with Scully, too. Like, I don't know. There's just something about men who unashamedly just support their women. I just love it. And before we get any further, there's people who are like, Monica Reyes is gay and she's not into guys. And I do agree that Monica Reyes is gay, and I think she had a gay relationship with Scully, but I believe her and Doggett had some kind of sexual relationship too. They just have that chemistry. And I can't stand people who are like, oh, Reyes and Doggett just don't have that Mulder and Scully chemistry. I'm like, yeah, of course they don't. They're not Mulder and Scully, but that doesn't mean they don't have this great chemistry. Like, they get each other. I also love how Doggett and Monica were, like, friends before they were partnered up together on the X-Files. That's really cool. I don't think that's ever discussed. Like, Mulder and Scully, like, they met when Scully was assigned to the X-Files, and they had to get to know each other and, like, earn each other's trust and, like, develop a friendship. And then with Doggett and Reyes, it's there. That's really interesting. Like, I love that. So, Reyes walks into FBI headquarters. Everyone's applauding her, and she's so proud. Scully's like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. She's like, yeah. And Doggett's like, yeah, that's my wife. Okay. And they're so cute. All right, listen. One season of Scully, Monica, and Doggett working together, to me, is more interesting and compelling than 7 seasons of Mulder and Scully together. Like, it's wholesome. Like, the relationship with Doggett and Reyes and Scully is non-problematic. The relationship with Scully and Mulder is toxic and problematic. And, like, I was watching this episode and I'm like, I feel good. Why do I feel so good? And it's that. Their relationship is wholesome. Like, it's built on trust and respect. And, like, each of them, like, wants the best for the other person. And I'm like, when was Mulder ever that considerate of Scully? He never fucking was. Unless, you know, she was dying or about to leave him. That's the only time he cared about her. So everyone's applauding Reyes. She's so proud of herself, and Doggett and Scully are so proud of her. They're like, yeah, that's our wife, man. Anyway, this dickhead from the FBI is like, tell us, Reyes, how you did it. And then she launches into her theory on how to find this killer through numerology. And you see Doggett in the back, and he's like, no, Monica, don't. He's like, stop. He's trying to save her from embarrassment. And Scully's just looking at Monica like, yeah, it's my girlfriend. She's like, you tell him those batshit theories, baby. It's so hilarious. So then, all of these straight-laced FBI agents are like, this is crazy. You know, this woman's crazy. So, the dickhead who's in charge of this case, I don't remember his name because he's a dickhead, and I'll just call him Agent Dickhead. So Agent Dickhead tells Monica she's full of shit. She should tell him he looks like a penis, because he does. Okay, John Doggett in this episode is beautiful. All right. It's the way he swoops in to defend Monica against this guy. He's like, look, Monica gave us a lead, which is more than you did. And then they're looking at this map where they're tracking the killer where he struck, and it makes the shape of a 6. And Doggett is like, this Agent Dickhead is like, Doggett, what do you have to say for yourself? And Doggett's like, this is in the shape of a 6. And the guy's like, what does that mean? And Doggett's like, I just noticed it. And Robert Patrick's delivery on that line cracks me up every time. He's so fucking angry at this guy. He wants to strangle him, and he's just like, I noticed it. Anyone who says Robert Patrick is a bad actor, like, go to fucking bed. That guy's amazing, all right? So then, you see Wayno, the serial killer. Fuck him. He keeps running into Burt Reynolds' God. And Burt Reynolds' God just messes with him. He's like, hey, do you want to play this game of dominoes? Hey, do you want to play this game of cards? Burt Reynolds' character in this episode is very much like one of those mischievous godlike beings in like a Shakespeare play, like Puck in A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Or he's a lot like Mercury in Greek mythology, or Loki in Norse mythology. He's just this little trickster who's like scurrying around, like I love him. I mean, fuck him for not like protecting people when he absolutely could with his omnipotent powers, but still, he's a lot of fun to watch. So Wayno's like, I'm gonna kill you, and Burt Reynolds is like, nah, son, I'm immortal, so fuck you. So Wayno goes off and kills the poor numerologist Reyes went to. Fuck this guy. Again, Burt Reynolds' God could have stepped in at any point and helped protect these helpless women, but whatever, man. Fuck. You know what? Fuck Burt Reynolds' God. I liked you, Burt Reynolds, in this episode. I was looking forward to seeing you, and then I saw that shit, and I was like, fuck you, Burt Reynolds. Actually, nothing against the actor Burt Reynolds. He seemed like a very lovely guy, but the character, I'm mad at this man, okay? So, then Scully and Reyes are gonna go off and do some detecting, and I'm like, yes! Yes! This episode is for the gays. So in Diamonicus, which is an episode I really love, I want to review it next. It's the first, well, it's the first Monster of the Week episode in season 9. Doggett is a little shitty goblin there. He's very obnoxious, and he's very frustrated and irritable. And then in Improbable, he's like this really sweet guy. I'm like, what happened between Diamonicus and Improbable? And I think I know. In Diamonicus, Doggett's very frustrated that, you know, his girlfriend and his wife are sleeping together. And he's very frustrated. And then between Diamonicus and Improbable, Scully and Reyes came to him, and they're like, hey dude, you can be part of this threesome. Like, we can turn this couple into a throuple, no problem. And Doggett's the kind of guy where he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I get to see both of you naked? All right, sure, let's do it. Like, there's no jealousy there. He's just like, oh, okay, I get to sleep with both of you? Great, let's do it. Let's go. So that's what happened. So, do you like our wreath? We made this wreath for Christmas like 3 years ago. And my daughter just kept adding stuff to it. Like, there's little autumn leaves. There's doves for Valentine's Day. It's just this beautiful Unitarian wreath. I really love it. It's hanging over our bathroom. That's our bathroom, by the way. We don't have a bathroom door. We just have like a shower curtain. Because we're cheap. So, the Monica and Scully track this guy, this serial killer Wayno, into a parking garage. They go down there and they get locked out. They can't get back to the elevator to go up. And you know what? Relatable. I do that all the fucking time, you know? So they're down there and they see this guy in a car and they're like, get out with your hands up. And it's Burt Reynolds' God. Okay. I don't know what to call him. I want to call him Lucky. Like, it's a good combination between Loki and Puck. So I'm just going to call him Lucky. So Lucky gets out of the car and he's like, I'm down here. I meet this friend for checkers every night. And Scully has zero time for this motherfucker. Reyes is kind of interested in what he has to say. So he's like, hey, if you guys want to play a game of checkers, like, that's cool. I got the board right here. His trunk is full of CDs. And Scully and Monica are like, what are we gonna do? And then Lucky's like, I have some great dance music there. And you know what, Chris Carter? I know I hate on you and I hate on your writing a lot, and I think it's warranted because you're a terrible writer. But there's some lines in this episode that are gold. That's one of them. He's like, I have some great dance music. Like, he really just wants to dance with Scully and Reyes. And yeah, dude, same. I do too. Okay. So, Scully and Reyes, I just love it. They're just like, okay, fuck it. I guess we're playing checkers now. So they're playing checkers, and Burt Reynolds is just wiping them out. But you know what? He's the god of luck. So, I mean, you know, I'd probably lose to him too. Actually, I definitely would. I'm terrible at checkers. So, all the time he's playing this obnoxious Italian music, and he's just dancing around them. You get this shot where he's like shaking his butt in their face. Like, okay, Chris Carter, that's pretty good, man. Like, again, like when Chris Carter's a director, like, some of the shots are just wonderful. So, then Reyes looks at the checkerboard and she like turns it around and she's like, Dana, your hair color. Scully's a redhead and Reyes is a brunette, and this guy's killing in threes. Like, he'll kill a blonde, a redhead, and then a brunette, and then he'll start over. So they figure like this guy is still, he's down here, he's watching us. Which is kind of hilarious. Like, they've been playing checkers this whole time, and this guy's just, like, watching them? Okay. So, they split up to go look for him. the guy pounces on Reyes, and Doggett fucking flies down there and shoots that motherfucker, and I love it. Like, okay, so Scully and Monica are not damsels in distress. Like, they can very much take care of themselves. They're FBI agents. But just seeing Doggett, like, taking care of his women, like, there's just something about a man who just unapologetically loves and worships his women. It will get me every time. And Doggett just, he checks all those boxes. I love the man. Also, Monica is, when he finds the 6 on the map where they're tracking the serial killer, Monica's like, you're a 6 in numerology. And she's like, you want to be successful. You love a bargain. And Doggett's like, well, that could be anyone. But you can tell, like, he's so flattered. He's like, oh, she likes me. Like, he's just, John Doggett is just fucking in love through this whole episode, and he is a delight to watch. I love that man. Every time I talk about John Doggett, it turns into the John Doggett appreciation video. So, he shoots this motherfucker, and it's really hot, okay? Like, I would have preferred Scully to shoot the guy or Reyes to shoot the guy, but, it's hot the way he comes down there, and he's like, oh, you want to hurt my wife? Okay, you're gonna get a bullet through your fucking head, all right? And I love that. It's just, woo, it's just, ew, it's hot. And Robert Patrick, he's kind of a fox in this one, I'm just gonna say it. Then, they all go home, and, Scully's tucking her baby boy, William, into bed, and I'm just like, let's stay here for a while. You know, like, why did Chris Carter have to do this? Like, this is great. Like, let Scully be a single mom. Let her raise her kid and have Reyes and Doggett, like, right there to help her, which is, why couldn't, it could have gone in that direction. Like, that's how the show could have been. Scully would be like, okay, I'm going to raise my son, and I'm going to have these 2 guys to help me. Like, my baby's going to have this wonderful support system, and we're going to have this throuple. And Mulder, stay gone. Okay, I know I sound like a bastard saying that because I don't like Mulder, but it makes narrative sense. Why did Mulder have to come back? Like, Scully and Doggett and Reyes had this amazing thing going. Like, it made no narrative sense for Mulder to come back. Anyway, that's just my view. And yeah, you know what? Fucking flame me. I don't care. Hate on me. That's how I see things. It made more narrative sense for Mulder to stay gone. But people are like, ooh, spooky boy. Again, I'll watch the shit out of Reyes, Doggett, and Scully working together and being this thriving throuple than seeing Mulder and Scully together any day of the week. So, ugh, my throat's starting to hurt, and my water's almost gone. So, Scully's tucking her baby boy into bed. It's a very cute scene. She gets into bed, and like the scene where Reyes is showing her the slides, it's a great callback to the X-Files pilot episode where Scully's like, lying awake in bed, staring at the phone, waiting for her lover to call. And eventually she can't take it anymore. She picks up the phone and she calls that hot brunette Reyes. Reyes, okay, let me break this scene down. Reyes is sitting by the phone in her apartment. She's in nothing but a black bra. She's gazing at the phone, and on her clock is Scully's numerical number 9, and she's just like, oh, when's my girlfriend gonna call me? Like, Jesus Christ. Oh, but Scully and Reyes were just good friends. I got it. I keep forgetting. Anyway, Scully calls Reyes, and she's like, what are you wearing, babe? It is so that. Okay. And then she asks Reyes, she's like, you told Doggett his number in numerically, and she's like, what is mine? And Reyes lays it on thick. She got laid after this, okay? Scully was in her pajamas driving to Reyes' house, okay? She like called her mom and she's like, Mom, I need a babysitter tonight. Like I've got to go somewhere. I've got to do something. So, Reyes tells Scully, she's like, you're a 9. And she's like, you've been through all of these things that have built you up into this strong and powerful person. And that's beautiful. Again, like, I wish Reyes had come into Scully's life earlier and been that supportive person who was like, hey, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, these abilities you have, like, Scully has precognitive and psychic abilities. Reyes is like, they're valid and they're good. That's something Mulder fucking never did. He never did that for Scully. He never told Scully, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, these precognitive feelings you're having, they're valid and good. And I respect them. Reyes did that. And I wish she had come into Scully's life earlier. How different would that have been and better? And I ship the hell out of Scully and Reyes. You know, and the one thing I will never forgive Chris Carter for, you know, is making Reyes into the bad guy. That, fuck the revival. That never happened. Okay, of all the things Chris Carter did, his torture and traumatization of Scully, the torture and traumatization of countless women characters in this show, that is the thing I will never forgive him for, is just doing that to Monica Reyes, this beautiful and pure and wholesome character. So then Scully goes over to Reyes' house and they bang it out. I mean, we don't see that on screen, but that's what happens. And then we see Burt Reynolds' God. He's like in the middle of this weird-ass parade, and everyone, like, you get this shot from space and it makes his face. And it's really weird. But God is Burt Reynolds. Who would have ever thought it, right? Anyway, that's Improbable. Had a blast watching this one, recording this review. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's just a delight. If you've never watched it, if you're one of those people who are like, fuck season 9, you know what? And you want, like, an excuse to, like, try it out, watch Improbable. It's great. And just, like I said, just forget about the adoption storyline. Just say, this never happened. Watch this episode. It's beautiful. It's got some wonderful moments between my 3 favorite FBI agents, and that is Doggett, Reyes, and Scully. I hope you have a beautiful day. It's hot as fuck outside here in Lower Alabama. Follow me on Twitter. I am at raccoons_dead. I am at Tumblr at Just Awful X-Men Art. I am on Instagram at Dead Raccoons Draws It, and I am at DeviantArt at Dead/Raccoons, or drop me a comment here. I love you all. I will be teaching a children's day camp tomorrow. I will be the craft guru, just like I was last year. So we're going to make a whole lot of swords out of popsicle sticks and aluminum foil. Pray for me. I love you. Watch out for Burt Reynolds, God. Mwah.